When it comes to doing outreach to our prospects, we have technology that can assist us. One of those technologies that can help you out as a sales professional is ChatGPT. On today's episode, we're going to tell you some ideas, specific strategies that you can utilize to have chat help you make more money. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we have David Kreiger on the podcast. David is a founder and president of a company called Sales Roads, helping teams to be able to leverage scale to whether it's getting their SDRs to be a part of your team or to run your whole SDR process for you. You can find more information about David and his team down below. Now, one of the things David is doing is that they're utilizing chat in a remarkable way, not only just to help with basic prompts, but utilizing it to understand their prospects better, to do better role plays, and to be able to prep them for conversations with their ideal customer. It's fascinating, and I know you're going to find benefit from it. If this is your first time listening to the show, it's designed to help you do two things. One, 3 to 5x your sales pipeline, and two, close more deals. All of our content falls under that category, and today, my friend, Mr. David's going to break down and share with you how we can help you to build pipe utilizing this. Let's dive in. David, welcome to the show.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
I'm really looking forward to this, man. Looking forward to have you on the show to break down these things for us and to dive into it. ChatGPT is one of those things that salespeople are talking a lot about, companies are discussing, everyone has on their mind. But we're trying to identify how we can master it or utilize it in the sales atmosphere is still up for debate. So that's why I want to have the conversation with you on this topic. Before I go into that, can you tell us a little bit more about on a day-to-day? What do you do, man?
Yeah, so I run Sales Roads. So we're a B2B SDR outsourcing company. So we help our clients when they're looking to accelerate their sales through pipeline creation, or just get more appointments booked, leads created, or just outsource their whole SDR functionality. They turn to us and we help them to generate sales.
Rock on, man. So you definitely have experimented with this already then.
We have. So after ChatGPT, and I felt like we were a little late to it, came out as far as AI goes, we just started putting our head down and thinking about ways that we could leverage this, both for our agency, but also for our clients.
You know, and one of the cool things about this, the whole idea here is that I think sometimes one of the debate that comes up is that, chat or, AI is specifically going to replace salespeople. And I'm like, no. It's kind of like saying the computer was going to replace people, back in the 60s when it became more prevalent in the workspace. It's a tool that's going to enhance the experience. And I think same thing with like chat that I've seen, it's been able to enhance the experience for all of us and helping us to be able to perform better. So I'm really excited for the tactical ideas that you have today.
Yeah, that's really important. I think people can't be fearful of this. I think that you've got to engage in AI, and it's something that's going to be as ubiquitous as the internet. It's almost like saying, as a salesperson, I'm not going to use the internet, right, to make my do what I do better. And AI is the same type of tool. We just need to get used to it. Like you said, it's not going to replace salespeople. As people said, it might replace salespeople who aren't using AI, right? But it is going to be an amazing tool to allow us to do our job better, to be able to understand our customers better, to be able to practice, train, and engage in the outbound motion. So I'm very excited. We're really early on in all of this, but I think it's going to be an amazing tool for all of us.
Let's go straight into that then. 3 tactical ways. Maybe tell us what are those 3 tactical ways, and then we can come back in and break down each of them. Is that cool?
Yeah, absolutely. And what I'd like to do is really just start from the fundamentals, because I think that it's really an important tool to be able to set the stage for you. A lot of people are talking about putting your emails on autopilot or having a bot call for you and things like that. And I'll be honest, we all look for the easy button in sales, right? We want something where we can push a button and all of a sudden appointments and sales fall out of the sky, right?
Of course.
That's what we're seeing on our Twitter feed, right? And that's what we're seeing on LinkedIn. It's just this magic of AI. And this is not that. And nothing is ever that. But I think it's going to help us to be better at our trade and better at what we do. And I think that all starts as a salesperson with understanding our customers. And so I think a lot of people have talked about automating emails and things like that. And I'd like to just go to the fundamentals and how you can use AI to better understand your customers, and your prospects, because from there, if you get a good chance to really understand them in a deep and meaningful way, you're going to be a better salesperson.
Love it. Let's go ahead and break it down.
Yeah. So what I would love to just talk about, and what we've been doing at Sales Roads, is, best case scenario, when you're building your ICP and when you're building your buyer profiles, and when you are building your call approaches, you want to have lots of conversations with your target market, right? And you want to be able to talk to your prospects. And this is not a replacement for that, but we don't always get the opportunity to go and talk to our clients and be able to ask them all the questions that are on the top of our mind. And I actually think that AI and ChatGPT is a great way to at least create some of these things, create information about our ideal customer profile, about our buyer personas, and then engage with them through the chatbot in a way that we're not able to do on a day-to-day basis. And so that's really what I want to talk about is how do you create with ChatGPT your ICP, some buyer personas, and then actually use that to interact with one of those buyer personas.
Love it. So walk me through that process then.
Yeah. So what I would say is that the first thing, when you're opening up ChatGPT, and a lot of times people use ChatGPT and they feel like it doesn't work and it doesn't create good things for them. The first thing you need to be able to do is give ChatGPT a persona. You need to be able to tell ChatGPT who it is. And that doesn't mean you're just like, so if you're creating some sales copywriting, not just like you're a sales copywriter. That is at a very basic. I would say spend a lot of time. We've spent hours, like if you're going to use this a lot, on really creating the persona, because ChatGPT, when you come up to it, it doesn't know who it is. And so you want to tell ChatGPT who it is. So for instance, when you are creating, for instance, a buyer persona, before you ask it to do anything, tell it who it is. And so for instance, at Sales Roads, we tell the ChatGPT that it's a sales copywriter in the B2B appointment setting and cold calling lead generation space. We tell it what it's going to do, that you're going to create a buyer persona or an ideal customer profile for us. And then we tell it, who are you influenced by? Like, so who are some of the, so you can basically leverage some of the best thought leaders that you have out there to help create your ICP and buyer persona. So we say, you think like Jill Conrath or Josh Braun or John Barrows, right? So think in this mindset, right? Or Donald Kelly, right? So tell it who you love and the types of advice that you would want from those types of people. And then give it your own flair, right? So I like building call approaches that aren't overly pushy, right? That people, you acknowledge that you're cold calling, that you're prospecting them. And so make sure that you are building value in the call approaches. So I built a whole persona of the person I want advice from. And I think that's a missing step a lot of times, that people don't tell the bot who it is. They just are accepting information from it just as if it's anything. So that's the first step in this.
And I think you hit a point on that too, especially the idea of the influence. I remember when I first started using Facebook ads and we were going through some of the things. It was some of the trainings. One of the things that pointed out was that you can leverage other people's platforms. So build a platform like XYZ, or build an audience like XYZ. And it was pretty cool, or followers who follow Newsweek. But then now I don't have to reinvent that. I was doing, and it's the same idea here that I saw, because when the Facebook ad first came out, the same idea too. Everyone is like, "Oh, bro, I can just put up something ad and a bunch of people are going to see it." But you hit the nail on the head, where you feed the details to it, and it can go and do the work, and then also give you more insights on it. The more detail you are, I think the most beneficial, the better you are. And someone who experiment with it too. I love what you're sharing there, that it's initially I did like the basic chat stuff, and I was like, whoa. But then once I started adding more complexity, I was like, oh, it's not working for me. But I realized what you just said, I wasn't working for it effectively, and I got crap out. So.
Yeah, and you gotta tell it what you want. It doesn't mean you know the specifics. You want to tell it what you want, because this is the most amazing tool to have a free or $20 a month assistant. But you got to tell the assistant who it is. And I'll be honest, in this type of stuff, I think they're going to figure it out. I think it's only fair. I shouldn't be necessarily leveraging information from all those people for free and them helping me write all my things. But right now you
I
can't. I
know.
think the platform is going to figure it out, and we're going to figure out some fair ways to share with all those. But right now this is a cheat, and there's no way to do it, right? To fairly compensate people. But you get to leverage the best thinkers in the industry of whatever industry you are that you really respect to help you develop the different things you want to develop in your sales cadence, in the information you're trying to create about your customers. And so lean into it. It's really amazing.
Love it. All right, so that's the first part there, understanding. Can we go a little bit deeper into the next part? You mentioned a couple different
Yeah,
thoughts.
so I wanted to start there because I think people think about prompting and asking the right questions, but you can't do it until you set the stage and you tell the bot who they are. And so, but the second part is, as we all know, you've got to figure out the prompts that you want and the information that you want to put into the prompts. And so, for instance, if you're going to start with developing an ideal customer profile, whatever good information you have around that from your marketing team, that you've developed, the things that you found, you've got to feed it in there. And it doesn't have to be that perfectly formatted. It's amazing how it can come up. And you can use plugins now with ChatGPT to be able to plug in websites. So I'll always plug in the website of the client, the LinkedIn company profile of the client, and some case studies I think are really good. And it will grab all that. And then you can ask it to develop your ideal customer profile, 3 buyer personas for you. And then it will come out. And then part of that, before we get to the last part, once you get that in, is you got to iterate back and forth. If you use ChatGPT to just spit out things and use it for the first thing that comes out, you're still going to get crap, right? And people will know it. But it is the most amazing brainstorming tool, in my opinion, ever invented. So you get an ideal customer profile and you say, give me 3 of them. Give me one that's outrageous. Give me one that is sort of spicy. I don't like this about this. This is wrong. So go back and forth. Don't just take the first thing that comes out, but really iterate and brainstorm and enjoy that process, because you get to understand your buyer that much better by iterating and thinking through that process with ChatGPT.
And I really like what you said there about the iteration. I found that to be the case. Like I was writing something and I didn't like the way it sounded, and then I put it through chat. Chat gave some feedback, but then I was able to iterate with it and to make it shorter. And what happened though after just doing that brainstorming, I think you're right. The best brainstorming tool like since the dawn of time, like that is what it is, and it's just like it's leveraging like millions of brains at once to be able to help me to articulate a pain point, or if it's going to be to write an introduction or whatnot. But you got to iterate just as much as a salesperson follows up to get to the root cause. You got to keep feeding it more, and it's amazing what comes back.
Yeah, and when could you have ever asked, you could drive an intern or an analyst crazy saying, give me 10 different iterations of this ideal customer profile, or give it to me in X, Y, and Z, Y. You get to do it at a click of the button, right? And so what happens is if you do it right, some people are worried that AI is going to think for us. I actually think it helps me to think better, because I can challenge, I can see different ideas. It can prompt me, right, to think about something in a different way, and then I go and play off of that. And so if you shortchange that prompting process where you have your prompt once and you're done, you're not using the tool in the right way, because both you're not going to get the content that you're looking for, but you're also not going to really be involved and understand what you're doing as well as if you are going back and forth with the tool. So that's where I found tremendous success and great outputs.
Yeah, I love it. What else am I missing when it comes towards this? We understand our buyer persona now. I'm understanding a little bit more about reiterating from it. Can you maybe share some more examples of how you guys are using it internally, and how your SDR team have taken advantage of it with these? I mean, some examples. You don't have to give us company names or anything like that.
Yeah. So, this kind of goes to the third step where, I think what happens is you then have, your ideal customer profile, your buyer personas. You can actually have it we help, it helps us to do some of the iteration as far as call approaches and emails. But where I think that the final magic happens, both for our team that's creating the call approaches, but also the SDRs themselves, is you get to then role play with the tool itself, right? And so you get to basically choose one of the buyer personas, right? So choose one that you're mainly going up with. And then again, you've got to give it your own sort of AI persona. So what I found is sometimes if you role play with just the one buyer persona that comes out, they'll basically, like, if you give it the opening, they'll basically say, yeah, I'll take the appointment. You're like, no.
Yep.
Okay. What you want is, so let's say you're calling into a chief revenue officer, at XYZ SaaS company. And you've got the buyer persona, you've got the information about that individual, some of the pain points. Maybe they're in fintech and they're really challenged around the financial markets right now, and everyone's funding's tight. That's fine. You've got a lot of those things in in the buyer persona. But then also say, listen, it is Monday morning. They've just been called out of the blue. They've missed their kid's birthday over the weekend. They're a little cranky, and they get a call from you. And then you go into it, and the AI will actually start reacting annoyed and like a regular cold call, and you can go back and forth with them. And then I would also say is in the IBM world or whatnot, you can do, like, I think it's Windows H, and you can use dictation, and so you can actually speak your responses back and forth to them, and you can go back and you can role play, and you can role play with ChatGPT, which I think is great for both managers to make sure that they're getting the right types of call approaches, but for SDRs to be able to just role play. Maybe there's a certain scenario that they were tripped up on. They just want to do it, and they can do this for free. They don't need to have a huge tech stack to be able to just role play with an AI, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, and I think that part there is probably one of the biggest things that I find effective is, for me as a seller when I'm doing my own prospecting, is practicing with my team beforehand, instead of trying to practice on my customer. And the good thing, again, if you create that buyer persona, like you're saying, ironclad, and it's good, it's going to make it so much more effective for you to get real good response. Because if I can know what are the top 3 objections that I might anticipate from a CRO, from this type of CRO in this industry, with what's going on in economic climate, that could help me going on that call. Now I know beforehand what potentially could happen. It's not like it's 100% guarantee, but it's way better than me going in and just saying, well, I've been doing this for 2 years, so I'm pretty good at selling our services. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And so I just think it's a great tool that allows you to do that. It's not a replacement, like you said, for the SDR managers. They've got it. You with all these things, and I want to reinforce this as many times as I can.
Please
don't use AI as a shortcut, because if you feel like it's going to write your emails faster, it's going to help you coach your team faster, it's not sure, but it's a way to layer on things that you might not be doing already. Because a lot of times how many times are you in the middle of cold calling, you haven't reached somebody in a while, your manager's not ready, and or better yet, you just got an objection, right, that you didn't handle that well, and you want to have somebody with that buyer persona. I just spoke with this CRO. You can even say it, this company, right?
Yeah.
This type of thing, and you get to role play on the fly, right? So it doesn't replace regular coachings and role plays and things like that, but it adds to it, and it makes it easier for SDRs to do it. It makes it easier to put it into the sales process. And so I think, going back to what you also said at the very beginning, is AI is not going to replace people, but for the people who use it, it's going to give them, to be a little melodramatic, superpowers, right? Mm-hmm. Because you now have this tool that you never could have unlocked before, to be able to help you do so many things, and the only limiting factor is your imagination.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. So let's back up now and let's wrap this up. I am brand new to this. I've heard about chat. I've not downloaded it. I've not downloaded an app. I'm listening to this podcast, heard Donald talking about this, and now hearing this guy, David, hearing you now. What should be my very first thing that I should do? Any prep work should I do before I jump into chat as a sales leader? Because I'm a sales leader and I want to help my team.
Yeah, and so I think that first of all, the most important thing is to lean into it and just start using this, because it is just like if you guys, if one remembers the first time you saw the internet, I remember seeing it. I just didn't know how to use it. I didn't know how to interact with it. I mean, it was like, and so you just got to start interacting it. But the reason why I chose these 2 steps, and there's so many other things you can do, is I think it's something easy and tangible that everyone can get their head around it. So if you're a sales manager that hasn't used ChatGPT before, I would really recommend trying these 3 different steps. So create the AI persona, really ask it about the, give it information, marketing information, create your ICP, create some of the buyer personas, and then just interact with it. Go back and forth with it and just play with it. And then don't get discouraged. If it comes up with weird answers, and it sometimes will, don't say it doesn't work, just keep at it, and think about what's working and what's not working, because I will tell you, at Sales Roads, we everything we do is human based, and even automated email, we really don't lean into that much, but we have really leveraged this as a way to make our understanding of our clients better, our understanding of their prospects better, and given each person on our team an assistant to be able to help them do whatever it is they want to do on a daily basis.
Love it, man. David, this is fantastic. If folks are listening to you, want to get connected to you, want to chat with you further about this, or are curious about your service, how it can help them and their sales team, what is the best way for them to go about connecting with you?
Yeah, so I'm active on LinkedIn, so you can check me out there. Just David Kreiger. You can search for me. Hopefully, I pop up. Also, company I run is Sales Road, so you always can go to our website, check us out there. Shoot me a message on LinkedIn, connect with me, ask me any questions. Happy to chat about and share what I know.
David, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. Thanks for helping us get started with chat and giving us some good ways to, prompting us to take advantage of chat. I have to put that in there.
Of course. No, thanks so much, Al, for having me on. I really appreciate
you, David. That was David Kreiger. You can find more information about him and Sales Roads in the show notes. Tell him that you heard him here on the Sales Evangelist podcast, and go ahead and try a couple of those things that he shared. I really like that idea of going deeper with the prompts, with the conversation you're getting, and getting the different iteration, and then also teaching chat what it needs to do when it comes towards building content or information for your ideal customer. I mean, fascinating stuff, amazing. Find out all the details and more information. Just go down into the show notes. Also, check out our sponsors as well. They're giving us amazing offers that not only could benefit you, but your team and also friends that you might have. So take advantage of those things. As always, our podcast is designed to help you, 1, 3 to 5x your sales pipeline, 2, close more deals. If any of our services like our LinkedIn prospecting course or any of our cohorts can help you, would love to be a part of that and to help you and your team. Again, as always, want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. Thanks so much for watching.